You know, fellas, here at Theory of Anything, considered by many to be the Casablanca of podcasts,
Yeah.
you've got to be ready for the hard-hitting questions. One moment you're talking about the Oscar nominees, and the next minute we're trying to figure out which of three animals would win in a wrestling match.
Yes. That's
So
right.
here to tackle such dilemmas is Mr. Ford. Hi. And we
Hello.
have the big boss man, Mr. Andy.
Oh, I'm not so
How's...
sure you consider me the boss man.
Oh, I do.
We're a level
Very much.
playing field here.
How are you this fine day?
Maybe the boss in number of years, perhaps.
Oh,
How am
yes.
I? I'm fine. Yeah, a bit. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm a little bit peeved about something. Do you want me to tell you what?
Okay, I'll just introduce our third co-host.
All right then. Yeah, I'll come back to me. Yeah.
And of course, our budding acting understudy, Mr. Devon.
Right.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
It's a lovely introduction as usual.
Understudy.
Acting understudy. We don't want to give him too much. So, how are you guys doing?
It's right, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's peeved you?
Well, yeah, we'll come. Devon has got something to tell us because he's had a busy week this week.
Oh, I
hasn't
have
he?
had a busy week.
Yeah, you could tell us a bit about
I
that.
forgot about that.
But yeah, how can you forget about what you've been up to this week? I'm a little bit frustrated because for Christmas, my dearly beloved wife bought me a Cineworld Unlimited membership.
How annoying!
Which was fabulous. Annoying. No, that's not the annoying bit. That's wonderful news. That was. But what is annoying is 2 weekends ago, that Storm, whatever it's called.
Dennis.
No, the one before that.
Something
like that, when it began with C. Blew the walls out, the roof panels off the cinema, and they've had to close the cinema. Bearing in mind it's only been open since last June.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was newly built last June, or newly opened. And now I've got to travel so much further to get to my nearest cinema. Use my unlimited. So for 2 weeks, I've not been able to go.
Do you know when it's
Quality
going to be
building
fixed?
work.
Say again?
Do you know when it's going to be fixed?
No, we went there yesterday to ask, and they were having a meeting yesterday afternoon, and they haven't published yet what the decision's been. But obviously, they've closed it from a safety point of view for the public. Yeah, very frustrating.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, that's enough of my woes.
Yeah, indeed.
Tell us, Devon, what you've been up to.
Well, me and my lovely wife have been moving into a new house. Yay!
Way! Yes.
It's very nice.
Good job. Good
Yes.
job.
So,
you happy?
Very, very happy.
Well?
Yeah.
Busy week?
There's a lot of decorating to do, and the week has been so busy, especially because now Beck, my wife, has gone abroad somewhere for the weekend, left me in the middle of all this mess.
All on you, all the boxes.
Me.
You move in and she leaves so you can do the tidying up. That's
exactly. Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah, we've got a brand new bathroom, brand new kitchen.
Lovely.
There's a lot of decorating to do, but it's very nice, and we're very happy. And there's lots and lots of space that we're not used to at all. That is just ours, so it's very cool.
Very nice. Yeah, because you've been living in a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah,
sort of flat.
One-bedroom flat. For the past.
Since you were married.
So it's like 5-6 months. 6 months.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But then, if that, then before that, obviously I was living in a shared house. You got one room and one cupboard and one shelf in the fridge and that kind of thing.
One shelf in the fridge.
It's true. Well, mine's actually half a shelf in the fridge.
Yeah.
But so yeah, from going from that obviously to the flat was a nice step, a nice upgrade. We were very happy with that. Then going from the flat to this, even though obviously it's 2 bed. It's not like a huge house, but to us it is very, very big, and there's lots of space, and it's very nice.
It's like living space 1.3, yeah?
Yeah. I guess you could say that, yeah.
Version 1.3,
Yeah.
update. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
But
well done.
It's all good, isn't it?
Yeah. If where you live was a piece of tech, that's what we could call it.
Yeah, it's true.
When does it go from 1 point something to 2? I don't understand.
Well, you can have 1.12, 1.13, and that kind of thing. So it's like, I think it depends on how big the update is.
Yeah.
Major upgrade. And
major overhaul.
Because then if you're like for gaming wise, you completely overhaul the engine, it'll be I don't know, BioShock 2 rather than 1.2. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was always a bit unsure about that. Yeah. Thank you for clearing it up.
I don't know if that's true or not. Just
it sounded good. How about Ford? You've asked us how we are. How are you?
Well, I'm pretty good, thank you. I was just thinking about our last episode. We talked about games, didn't we? About them being revamped. I was thinking
remakes. Yeah.
You know, you get video game adaptations, don't you? Where they do it. I was thinking, how long do you think it'll be before Fortnite becomes a movie?
Oh
dear.
I can't. Yeah.
I don't even know what you can do. There's no story to that game.
Well, it's a Hunger Games, isn't it? Essentially.
Oh yeah, but so is every game these days.
Yeah, but do you think of how much traffic that would get?
Yeah,
I'd love
that's
it.
True.
It's a what did you say?
Hunger Games, like a battle royale.
Hunger Games, a battle royale, like PUBG.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
PUBG, same principle. Yeah.
Mm.
What other games are known for that battle royale?
Apex Legends is
Okay.
one of the most popular ones as well.
Yeah.
There's loads, especially like mobile phone games as well. But
yeah,
it's the new and hip type of game.
Did PUBG start it?
I think a mod for Armour started it.
Oh, right.
Armour mod? I don't know. Maybe it's Armour 3 or something like that.
Okay. Anyway, at the risk of this welcome session becoming a game section, we better move on, I think, haven't we?
Yes. Well, I guess it's time for
Devon's segment. Subject.
It's time for me and my lovely little section over here.
Go for it.
Today, I'm going to be talking about, because obviously we're a techie type of podcast. Bring a little bit of tech talk to our tech tables.
Tech talk, brilliant, love it.
Ooh, you have a tech table. Sweet.
I don't know how much you guys maybe because we've talked a little bit about this before. Dad, you don't really follow mobile phones that much.
Only if I'm looking to change it, and I go into a lot of research and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, and I don't think Ford does either.
I think you could safely say that, yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I don't know if you guys even noticed, but the Galaxy S20 Ultra has been announced, and it is flipping amazing.
You're excited about that, by the
Well, I'm probably not going to get it because it's £1,400.
Ultra expensive, yeah.
Wow, it comes in at £1,399. Yeah,
what?
But it is ridiculous. It's got 120 hertz refresh rate, which means that it's really, really smooth to scroll on.
Yeah.
It's got an octa-core processor, at 4 cores at 2.0 and some whatever. It's got 0.5 terabyte of internal storage.
Ooh.
So it's 512 gig of internal storage.
Yeah.
16 gig of RAM. In my computer, my gaming computer that I'm using right now, I've got 12 gig.
Yeah.
So I have more RAM than my gaming computer.
You'll be playing CS. What is it? CS:GO on your phone. You're getting better responses on your phone.
Yeah. It can video.
If you had that phone.
Yeah, exactly. It can video 720p at 960 frames per second, which is actually just ridiculous. That means obviously the slow motion would be very, very, very good. And it can actually video 4K video as well. So obviously, because as we talked about, phones aren't really your guys' expertise or interest. With this phone in mind, what is the future of tech, and will things like desktops last? Because the power of something that you can literally hold in your phone is becoming more and more of a reality of how much you can actually best a computer.
Well, this is something I'm quite excited about, is the idea of VR headsets replacing screens.
Yes.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I think it's so cool being able to put your headset on and there you can see your screen just floating in the blackness. I just like that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why, even. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but there you go.
But the thing with that is that a lot of people don't get on with it very well because of like motion sickness. That would be during a gaming session. It would be apply, but if you use a VR experience just to do general computing,
I would.
Word documenting and other office work, or
Okay,
then I don't think you get motion sickness typing an Excel spreadsheet, would we?
Oh, I see. No.
There's this video on YouTube. I'll try and find it and link it in the description. It's this guy. I think he's in VR for like 3 days. And it's ridiculous.
Oh my days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. So it's quite interesting to see the effects on him and
See,
how that works out.
With the idea of your phone being more powerful than your computer, I can just picture our consoles being our phone and the headset being our screen. And that's all you need. Wherever you go, you have your computer on you.
Yeah.
I think...
And the screen's as big as you like, you know?
I think the future of augmented reality is going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
That you'd be wearing a pair of what appears to be sunglasses or ordinary glasses, but what you'll see is your heads-up display in front of you.
What, like Pokemon Go, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's augmented reality.
More like Google Glass.
But yes, like Google Glass was meant to be, and I'm not very up on the latest developments. I have heard rumours that
something else
because the Google Glass failed or didn't get off the starting blocks. But there are other companies, and I think even Apple are looking at it. Or why should I say even Apple? Obviously, Apple are going to be looking at it. But the potential in that is going to be tremendous because everybody wears some form of eyewear, and so your technology will be on the front of your face, and you'll be walking around the streets and you'll see, whatever you can be watching something superimposed over the reality around you,
Yeah.
But do you think that the glasses would just be the screen and the hardware would all be in the phone? So it's Bluetooth?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? That the number crunching happens somewhere else because of the limitations of the size of the glasses themselves. Yeah, but that excites me.
So, do you guys reckon that things like PCs and workstations will be a thing of the past one day?
Yes.
I think you're probably right. Yeah, because you won't need them, will you? We won't be sitting in front of a solid screen with a box either underneath or on top of our desk.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not quite like that anymore already, are they, in state-of-the-art office?
Yeah.
But
things like iMacs, obviously everything's inside the screen. And obviously Windows do that as well.
Exactly, yeah. I'm sat in front of one now and there's no box anywhere.
Yeah, it's all like behind the screen.
Do you guys remember Back to the Future?
Yeah.
In that, he goes to the future and they've got this giant TV on the screen, but it's showing like 6 different channels all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's not really what goes on now, is it? Because we're in that future now, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right.
I think we're past it. Yeah.
If you imagine it, if everybody's wearing these kind of glasses that I'm trying to describe, maybe not very successfully, billboards won't. If you take glasses off, there'll just be a blank board. But when you put your glasses on, the billboard will have the advertisements that's been tailored for your shopping buying history. So everybody walk past the same actual physical billboard, but see what's tailored for them.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. That'll be fun. And you won't have a sat nav in your car. No, it probably won't be much fun. It'll be consumerism at its worst, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you're walking down the road, you can have your if you like, your directions for where you're going superimposed on the pavement below you,
Wow, so just be a line saying
follow a line on the pavement. Yeah. Only, I want to go to the shop or I want to meet up with somebody. Where's Ford? Where am I going to meet him? And I'll follow the line on the pavement to go to wherever you are if we were going to meet up in a town centre or something. Yeah.
Scary stuff.
Those potential. I did want to say one other thing that interests me as well about folding screen technology.
I was going to ask that, yes.
Yeah, because you started by talking about phone developments, and I can't remember, it might have been Samsung.
So
somebody's
there's a few out at the moment. There's a Motorola. What's it called? That's what's like the older one is a Motorola, and then I think it's a Flip, and then there's the Samsung Z Flip, I think. Then obviously you got the Galaxy Fold as well, which goes like a book, opens and closes like a book. Then you got the Z Flip, which flips open like a conventional Nokia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a question about modular phones because a little while ago I saw, well, it's quite a while ago now, that they were coming up with this idea where you could take out bits, like you take out the RAM of your phone and put in.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing, but no one buys them because no one wants to.
Really? So you just want a better camera? You just buy a different module for your whack it on there, you know?
Yeah. That is a thing. It's not very popular though. And I think it's quite hard to get your hands on one now because it didn't really take off. But, yeah.
So you could upgrade. It's like you used to upgrade your PC, like some people still do.
Hello.
Yeah.
But it looks really, really cool. Like on the back of it, it's actually got different sections that you can literally just take to pieces and put back again, different pieces. Yeah, it's very cool.
Okay. I remember, I think it must have been around about 2007 when the first iPad came out to great hurrah. You know, there was one big publicity about the first iPad. And you look at the original iPad now and it's not at all impressive. But when it first came out, and I remember sort of scoffing at it a bit and thinking, oh, I'd never want one of them. It's far too big and bulky. How are you going to carry that around? And I said to myself,
get a man bag.
Yeah. Well, don't spill your drink in it. Yeah. Listeners will have to go back and listen to previous episodes to see the relevance of that comment. No, I was thinking I'm going to resist getting an iPad until the screen can be folded and then put inside your shirt pocket. So you'd fold an A4 sheet of paper once, then twice.
What, twice?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. You asked me about what the future is. I'm looking forward to tablet technology being foldable multiple times. So you getting an A4 sheet of paper, fold it once, fold it again. And
do you mean being able to fold it wherever you want to, or just at particular hinges?
Possibly. Yeah.
That'd be very difficult.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if people are working on the idea of
right now it's all like hinge based. Obviously they're very complicated and very smart hinges, but yeah.
But if we're letting our mind go further in thought of future potential, yes, wow. I mean, it's funny though as well. We talk about Star Trek sort of leading the way in technological developments about ideas and things. The iPad equivalents in Star Trek, which, as I say, I keep meaning to look this up, is set 200 years forward, are far less impressive than current technologies now. But in
their data pads or whatever.
In Next Generation, when we first saw that, back in the late 80s, early 90s, Next Generation was produced. It seemed so far-fetched, and led the way really in certainly in technology developers thinking.
Definitely.
So sci-fi does lead us.
And we follow
on the iPad front. Just a quick note: the phone I was talking to you about, the S20 Ultra from Samsung, 6.9 inches, which is just a little bit smaller than the iPad Mini.
Really?
Yeah,
it's a big device.
They're getting bigger
and
bigger as time goes on.
It has to be for that. For that power. Sort of, what it's got in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How does the spec? That's a mighty impressive machine. Is it already released?
No, it's been announced. It's being released in a few months. Yeah. You can pre-order it now.
But it's such an awful operating system.
Well, Android. It's great.
I hate Android. Anyway, there we are. Yeah. How does that compare to the top of the range Apple phone?
In terms of specs?
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be fighting back against that. But
right now, obviously, the best Apple phone is the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and it's nowhere near the specs of the S20 Ultra. But the S20 Ultra is nowhere near any other Android phone as well. It's quite high up.
It's a huge leap forward, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's very, very expensive, and we'll see if anyone actually buys it. Yeah, there's a few no-namers like the ROG phones that are really, really good as well. But
if you're going to spend over £1,000 on a phone, and you've got a choice between the top Apple phone and that, then you're going to go for that, aren't you? For your
it depends
Samsung.
what you're used to, though, isn't it? It's like
yeah. If you're not committed,
if you're in the ecosystem. So Beck's got the 11 Pro, and I egged her on to go for the Pro rather than the normal one, and that's about 1,000. No, it's 1,049.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we obviously split it around.
I thought you can spend more than that on an Apple phone.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, for like the Max and for like the bigger storage and that kind of thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But for specs wise, it's not anything. It's not near that S20 Ultra, but it is what you're used to. Obviously, the S20 Ultra won't be able to connect to your Apple Watch or for your MacBook or your AirPods or anything like that, as well as an iPhone can.
The way Apple does, yeah.
It's the ecosystem.
You've got to make your choice, haven't you?
Yeah, and that's where Apple wins. The ecosystem's so good, but the specs is not.
No, they're not technically the most impressive. Yeah,
but software's really
does the job.
Yeah, definitely. Just about.
Ford's gone very quiet. Ford.
Yes. That's what I have to say on it.
Okay, I think that's the end of my segment then, isn't it?
Paps. Segment. Subject.
Okay, guys. Me next then, is it? I've wanted to talk to you a little bit. I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about today. And then something arrived in the post. And it's the latest edition of my Sorted magazine. My subscription, which arrives every other month. I've got my March-April edition in front of me. And for people, it sounds like it might be including you who are not familiar with this.
Indeed.
It's a actual physical paper magazine.
No way.
Buy off the shelf.
That's mad.
Hello, stereotypical old man.
It's a paper magazine that you'd buy on the shelf of a newsagent's, but this is a magazine with a difference. It's a contemporary men's magazine, okay? But it's aimed particularly at Christian men. And non-Christian men as well. I think anybody could pick this up, but it's written by Christians or edited by Christians. They probably wouldn't thank me for calling it a Christian magazine because it's not your stereotypical Christian magazine.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's like our podcast on paper.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You hit the nail on the head. Let me just read to you the front cover of this one. It's got a big picture of Tom Hanks on it, and I'll go more into that in a moment. Oh, I like Tom Hanks. He's my favourite actor.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. Along the bottom, it has the tagline, if you like. You know what our tagline of anything spiritual, inspiring, or interesting from media, tech, or church. That's one of the things we like to fashion ourselves on.
Yes.
So yeah. Their tagline is culture, sport, cars, fitness, tech, humour, and lifestyle. So they cover a lot of the stuff that we're interested in.
Yeah,
and they've got Tom Hanks on the front with fitness.
Yeah. Well, obviously Tom Hanks is part of the lifestyle section, I suppose.
I see.
Celebrity stuff.
Yes, and there's a big section on. I'll just read you the index. It's got action, workplace, culture, lifestyle, advice, opinion, sport, health and fitness, humour, and comment. There's some well-known Christian writers in here, but there's a lot of what I'd say is not overtly Christian in its approach. Like the interview with Tom Hanks. Let me see if I can find it. You might hear the rustling of paper. Yeah. Do you know what that sounds like?
No, I don't like it. Put me right off.
I'm reading a magazine live on a podcast. Isn't that interesting? Tom Hanks.
Is everybody sitting comfortably?
You know what? That's quite funny that you should use that phrase. Because the interview with Tom Hanks is about his latest film called A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which is about the life or a story of a American TV children's program host, and how he would tell stories on television to children. It's a fabulous film. I loved it. My brother hated it, but I loved it.
Is it based on real life?
And It's a true story. Yeah, true story of the. Let me find it. The real life. Trying to find. Oh, Fred Rogers, that's his name, who was a legendary children's television presenter. Yeah. Hold on a minute.
Fred Rogers is my favourite character from Avengers.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, what a crossover. So that's an article.
Hang on, what?
I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
It's Steve Rogers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not real. You had me for a second.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about Avengers, so it went over my head.
Yeah, Steve Rogers' geeky brother. No, you had me. I don't know.
What's his real name?
Steve Rogers. He's Captain America.
Steve.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fred Rogers must be his dorky brother.
Yeah.
Who did children's shows.
I'm not going to talk too long, but I'll just quickly tell you a couple of other articles. They've got a 4-page spread on the Extinction Rebellion. You know, the much in the news at the moment. You do know about that, I guess. Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. Okay. You were very quiet. I wasn't sure.
So it took a second.
If you listening to the news.
Well, it was a fake yes on my part, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, have they been in the news recently?
Well, yeah, because they did something. I better not voice too much. Yeah, I mean, I empathise with their cause, but
I'm practices all the time,
but not necessarily their conduct. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. There's an article by a guy called Professor Keith Fox. There's a biochemist from Southampton University, and the title is "When the God Enigma Really Does Make Sense." And the subheading is "Why Shouldn't a Scientist Believe in God?" So you see a couple of stuff, interesting stuff. I'd love to read it to you, but I haven't got time. There's another article which I probably will read to you in the next episode, by Harry Benson, who's a director of the Marriage Foundation, and the title of his article is called "Men Behaving Gladly." And the subheading is "Divorce Rates Are Plummeting Because Men Are Deciding Not Sliding Into Marriage." And that's I've read that article. It's very interesting. Yeah. 20 years ago, many times men would feel like they almost slid into marriage almost by accident. Whereas now, because...
Are we talking shotgun weddings here?
Yeah, or okay, then I'll marry you. Maybe because they had to. Maybe because it's just
culture
easier to than to not. But since then, the marriage rate's gone down. But those people who are getting married are fully into the concept of marriage. Do you see what I mean?
So they're more likely to stay married, is what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. So in fact, divorce rates are going down because less people are getting married. That's the end. That's the essence of the article. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I was on that. I was talking to a couple of guys from work the other day, and one was actually like a lady that was quite a bit older than me, and another guy was a little bit older than me. But they're both saying, like, what's the point in getting married? Like, I'm going to spend all this money. It doesn't make any difference. Like, what's the point? So it's quite common now that people just aren't getting married.
That's
very strange.
So it's kind of good news on the back of bad news, because obviously we'd like marriage to be successful and popular.
Yeah.
Whereas what the article is saying is there are less people getting divorced because there are less people getting married, and the people who are getting married are doing it because that's what they really, really are committed to doing. You know.
Well, quite frankly, I'm not sure I believe that marriage is hard. I don't know if everyone's built for it. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if it should be popular.
No, that's true. You shouldn't be honest. That's the sliding into marriage that often men felt they had to. Do you know what I mean? Rather than
deciding.
I moved away from it. Deciding, not sliding. Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't going to talk about. I might read that to you another time. But there's a couple of other things I wanted to highlight from this edition. Did you know that on Good Friday, the 10th of April, this coming 10th of April, there is free performances at. You can watch it live of the Passion of Jesus in Trafalgar Square. Yeah, if anybody is listening from London, city centre, Trafalgar Square are performing. Sorry, there's a group from the Bible Society performing the Passion of Jesus live in Trafalgar Square on the 10th of April, Good Friday, at 12 o'clock noon and also at 3:15. But for those of us who probably won't get there,
yeah, it's a bit far from me, I'm afraid.
You can watch it live streamed, and I'll give you the web address: www.wintershall, so that's wintershall, all one word, .org.uk. So I'm going to be tuning into that. Yes, we'll put the link in the description.
YouTube.
On the YouTube channel. I recommend that if you can't, 12 o'clock and 3:15. That's an advert. I caught my eye. Finally, what's the last thing I wanted to tell you about in this edition? The membership of the magazine. I'm not getting any, what do you call it?
Ka-ching.
Sponsor.
Yeah, sponsor. We're not getting sponsored to say this, but I took on my subscription for this magazine when I was at the Christian Vision for Men conference, probably 3 years ago, the subscription fees are £21 a year for 6 editions because it comes out every other month. And I highly recommend it as a magazine for men, whether you're a Christian man or not. I think you'd enjoy a lot of the content in it.
How thick is it? It's
average magazine thickness,
I see. Right.
A glossy, good-looking magazine. Sortedmag.com, if you want to have a closer look at it, is their website. And
do they have a celebrity pasted across the front every month?
They do. Bear Grylls is a regular contributor because he's a committed Christian, isn't he, Bear Grylls? I haven't got another one handy to have a look. But yes. Have you just looked?
No, just a guess.
Yeah, Stormzy, I think, was in the last one. Yeah. I think he was actually in the last. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I thought you must have gone on the website.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I won't bore you with any more detail, but that was just something I wanted to tell you all about. Yeah, but I might come back to that marriage article and we'll discuss it further.
Cause sounds very good.
Interesting to think about. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thoughts. Segment. Subject.
Have you guys ever seen the film Passengers?
I have.
Oh,
have you indeed?
It's a sci-fi film. Yeah.
It is indeed a sci-fi film. It's got Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence in it. I think they're essentially the only people in it, I think.
Oh, there is one other person in it who plays the robotic barman.
But he's a robot, so I don't count.
Michael Sheen.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
And Lawrence Fishburne apparently as well. I'm just saw on the page here.
Oh yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne. I can't remember what he plays. Anyway, carry on.
It's one of my guilty pleasures. I come back to it every now and again.
Do you?
Yes. Why?
I just wouldn't think that you would.
No. Well, it's actually quite. It's fun. I think.
Yeah,
anyway,
the main idea. Yeah.
The main shtick of the film is this guy. There's this ship full of passengers, and they're going from one. Oh, spoilers, just in case you're. Anyway, it's about this big ship going from one planet to another. It's going to take 100 odd years or whatever. But our main character Chris Pratt wakes up early, and he can't get back into his stasis pod or whatever. Oh yeah, they're all in the stasis pods.
Yeah.
And he falls into loneliness and all this nonsense. And then he ends up waking up our other main character, Jennifer Lawrence lady. Right. So what I wanted to ask essentially is, if you're in that position, would you wake someone up?
Oh.
Yeah. Moral dilemma.
Yeah, because you're kind of sentencing them to a life or death on a ship.
You are.
Yeah. They could make it to the other end and have a full life or whatever. That's kind of the dilemma that's presented in the film.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
What do you guys think about that?
I'd like to think that I wouldn't, but
really.
Yeah, but obviously, going years or however long by yourself is a bit.
Yeah.
It kind of push you to do things that you wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
See, I think I could take it, to be honest. I like a little loneliness, you know.
You could play computer games all by yourself as long as you wanted.
Incredible. You could visit the bar with that.
Yeah.
The chap you just mentioned.
Yeah, the robot guy was nice. Michael Sheen's character was good fun.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I empathised with the character's dilemma while watching the film, if I remember it correctly. It was quite well written and a good thought-provoking plotline. But I think I wouldn't want to condemn somebody else to death, which is what I mean. Everybody's going to die, aren't they? But it's what kind of life they're going to live before they die. They were I think they were aiming for a distant planet, weren't they? A colony planet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the obviously the other Jennifer Lawrence character expected to wake up to a new life on a new world, whereas she ended up waking up to a less interesting life on a spaceship with one other person.
Well, quite frankly, if I could be on a spaceship, I would. I think, fair enough. Now, if you were to wake someone up, what celebrity would you wake up?
Oh, God.
Because our main character had the good fortune of having Jennifer Lawrence be on the spaceship with him.
Yeah, that was fortuitous, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, I don't blame him. She's all right.
Yeah. Could he look at them all before he decided which one?
Yes, he was playing through like maybe just videos, not hollow, of them talking about themselves and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And he kind of falls in love with her before he wakes her up.
He won't just like wiping the frost off of the glass panel in there. Yeah. I'm only joking. I know it wasn't quite like that. Yeah. Until he finds a pretty one.
Yeah. And a celebrity as well.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's Jennifer Lawrence. I'll wake her up. Goodness me.
So if you had a spaceship full of celebrities, who would you crack open?
I think I'd probably crack open Tom Hanks.
Oh, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think Tom Hanks is probably my celebrity hero of all time.
Hero? My word, that's strong.
I've always said he's my favourite actor, so that's why I commented on him in my segment.
Okay.
The article in the magazine. Yeah. Or I'd love to wake up Douglas Adams.
Oh, Douglas Adams.
Yeah.
Well, you've always got to worry, haven't you? Maybe they're not as nice or good.
You're not meant to
in real
meet
life.
Your heroes, are
No,
you?
that's
You're not
tricky.
meant to meet your heroes.
No.
Douglas Adams, the author of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will always remember as a teen being so kind of into hitchhikers that I could only have dreamt of meeting Douglas Adams. Unfortunately, he's dead now.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's still dead. Yeah.
Can't wake him up.
And no, yeah. He's not just spending a few decades dead for tax reasons.
No, dear. That's a Hitchhiker's reference.
That is a Hitchhiker's reference. Don't give
would
me a bad
appreciate
taste. He'd laugh. Yeah, he'd laugh at that.
Well, he wrote it, so you know.
Yeah, he wrote it. Yeah. Yeah. That's two men. I haven't thought of any pretty actresses to wake up.
Well, that's fine. If you just want to hang out with chaps, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's just to stave off the boredom, isn't it? That's the sort of thing.
I think.
Yeah. Good conversation.
Yeah. I think I was quite the same, kind of, but not obviously same people. I got two guys as well.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
One is, I'm pretty sure he's my favourite actor, is Michael Cera. He's the guy from Scott Pilgrim and Juno and Superbad and
yeah.
That guy.
Yep.
I think it'd be really fun. I really like him because he kind of changes like bad films into like really good films. Like he plays the part really, really good.
Yeah,
it'd be really fun just to mess around with, and it'd be quite, I don't know, hilarious.
Yeah, he seems quite nice, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, because you're talking about Douglas Adams, I thought George R.R. Martin. So I could just talk to him all the time about Game of Thrones and the world of Game of Thrones.
Oh, that gets so old, surely.
You could.
There'd be so much to talk about.
They
Yeah, it'd be
would.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you meet him? He's just like a bum or something. He's like, yeah, whatever, man. I
I
don't.
just had a few ideas, and the TV company made up the rest of it.
Yeah, that's it. Mhm.
I've watched loads and loads of interviews of him, and
Yeah.
obviously for a lot of the questions he has to say that he can't answer them because of like spoilers and that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
He's quite a good conversationalist by the looks of it, and that'd be very
Essentially, he
interesting.
hasn't got a clue. That's why.
And he's got a big beard, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a
He's
big
got a
beard.
big beard. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I was thinking Ryan Reynolds because in all the interviews I've seen him in, although he is quite crude on TV, I think he might be crude in real life as well. But he seems quite light-hearted and interesting and fun. You know.
Yeah, watched the film.
But I'm sure if you were stuck on a spaceship together on your own, I'm sure he'd tone down his language for you, wouldn't
Yeah,
he?
you reckon?
Yeah, I think he's probably only swearing to impress people, and he knows that he doesn't impress you.
I didn't know he swore that much.
You could tell him.
I don't know if it's swearing or sort of. Yeah, he doesn't mind saying anything. You know.
Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah. Different types of crude.
Different types. Okay.
I hear Hugh Jackman is pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
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 Wolverine to anyone who's into X-Men.
Yeah. I think I chose Tom Hanks, and he's one of my particular heroes, is because whenever I hear him interviewed, he is such a great interviewee that he answers questions so fully and passionately and interestingly. He really does interview well, you know, and such a lovely guy. For such a big star, he's grounded and down to earth, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it?
Probably we've all picked up on something like that, and all of our heroes, haven't we? Down to earth, grounded, people you want to spend time with.
Well, yeah, I'd be a bit worried if you woke up someone and they just turned out to be the class of douchebags, you know. Yeah.
I do think though, if I spent too long with Douglas Adams, I think he'd work out that I'm not as intelligent as him. Yeah, very quickly. Yeah, I think the conversations would soon become one-sided in terms of depth of intellect. Yeah.
I know, you could spend all your time telling him how tablets work, you know.
Yeah, because he did. Tablets didn't exist when he died. Yeah,
No, quite.
I think actually
No, it wasn't.
did
Yeah, they did. It wasn't that long ago.
No,
was it?
it
Really?
was. Yeah, it was.
I thought it was.
I thought. No.
I'm just looking now.
Oh, quick break.
So I think
2001.
Oh
2001.
gosh! Wow.
Yes,
Flipping,
6 years. 6 years before the iPad came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he was an Android user.
19 years ago. Yeah. He loved his technology. He'd be amazed at the way we've developed now. Yeah.
Well, I think this is the end of this segment right here, right now. Yes.
Very good.
Sounds very nice, yeah.
You're welcome. Anytime.
So have you just got one? Or is it just Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds, I was thinking if it was female, maybe Jessica Alba, although she's quite older now. I think she's out of my age league, you know.
Oh, I know I'd like, and Christine won't mind me saying this because she knows I have a bit of a soft spot for her, Nigella Lawson.
Is she?
She's nice. She's nice to look at, and
She can cook.
and she can cook.
Wow.
How do you know? I was going to say that.
Classic.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to live off of reconstituted robot-prepared food in your spaceship, a bit of home cooking would be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd go a long way, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Hydrogenated slop, or some food prepared by Nigella Lawson. But it's where she'll get the ingredients from. That might be a problem. Yeah. Oh well, never mind. I'll have Tom Hanks instead.
Right.
Very
Oh,
good.
Devon, female. What?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know any females.
Go back to the first person we were talking about.
What?
Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
Why not? Yeah.
If Chris Pratt's got anything going for him, he's got a good taste in women.
Pre-marriage days, I know you had a soft spot for her. So
That was like 10 years ago. But
Yeah.
pretty much.
when she was in Hunger Games. Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah.
There you go.
No shame in that.
No, not at all.
Let's wrap this up, shall we?
Yeah.
Swiftly.
Or you put your foot in it. Yeah.
I think it might be too late, but there you go.
Too late.
All right.
And now it's time for Random Chatting.
All right. Now we're on to our homework section.
Oh yes.
Now we all agreed we'd talk about Casablanca.
Yes.
I was wondering if I could lead on this one because
Yes, please do. You start us off. Yeah.
I'd like to say it's fine. Right. Next segment.
You recommended it, and that's all you've got to say.
Moving on, as we said.
Come on, you must have more to say about it than that.
No, I was only joking about taking the lead. If someone else wants to go for it.
I'd like to go last. That's okay.
Okay, well, I've got a bit of a list of things I'd like to say.
Okay. Oh, now I know it's not been too long since it's come out, so if you want to avoid spoilers, you might
1942. Yeah.
might want to skip ahead just in case.
Actually, mentioning its age is one of the key things one of the things I thought was worth talking about. It's interesting that this film, which is set at the time when the Nazis hadn't yet invaded North Africa, which they later do go on to do.
Oh no!
Right in the middle of the war, wasn't it? 1942. Yeah, 1939 to 1945, World War II.
That's when it was made, but not when it was set, was it? I think it was.
It was made in 42.
Yeah, it was made in 42, but I think it was set in 39, wasn't it? I can't remember.
I think it might have been. Yeah. So it was set in 40. Sorry, it was made in 42, but set a bit earlier than that. I think you're right, Devon.
39.
Yeah. But it was ahead of its time in that sense because it was showing a Nazi progression through Europe. Paris had already been invaded, hadn't it? Yeah. And so obviously it was talking about the resistance and everything else. So the setting of it was quite interesting, I thought, to the audience of that day when they were in the midst of the war and they were looking at a film that was very contemporary to them. So yeah, I mean, we can't fail to mention some of the famous lines, which probably somebody will.
Oh yes.
One of you guys can go through some of the famous. I mean, they're such part of everyday culture. Go on then. Yeah, read some of the famous lines to us. And, if you miss any, I'll pick you up.
All right, okay. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
Play it again, Sam.
Yeah.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of all the gin joints in all the countries in all the world, why'd you have to walk into mine?
Yeah.
There you go. They're the ones I picked up on.
Apart from, you got one wrong.
Oh, no, was it the play again, Sam?
Yeah.
Yes.
The word again isn't ever spoken in that line. When she says it, that Ingrid Bergman character called Isa Lund is a character name. She says it for I think
Elsa's her name.
Alsa, I think her name. ILSA. I think
Iceland is my favourite Scandinavian country.
That's right. Yeah.
Everyone calls her Elsa, by the way.
Elsa. Oh, is it? But
that's what they call her in the film.
It's spelled I-L. Iceland. Her surname is Lund, Lund. Anyway, but she says, "Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by." And then she says, "Sing it, Sam." And then when he says it, when Bogart says it, Richard, whatever his name is.
Yeah, it's Rick, yes.
Yeah, his character says it says that he doesn't use the words "play it again," but I wonder why culture has taken on the "play it again, Sam," which is never actually spoken. Anyway, mild. Yeah. Did you say he's looking at you, kid? Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes.
That's obviously a famous line that's repeated. Yeah. What about the hill of beans in this crazy world?
It's too complicated. I couldn't bring myself to say that one.
Yeah. Towards the end, isn't it? Yeah. Very moving scene.
I was wondering, did you think Rick was likable?
Well,
Because
No.
no,
go on,
Ah.
because carry on.
well, because he's a bad guy, and he keeps. But he's portrayed as a good guy, but then he doesn't care about anything. He
No.
betrays his. Well, he doesn't.
Selfish.
He's not really his friend. He's very selfish, I think.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah,
wonder if he was a what do you call it? He's basically portraying America, in the war. He's neutral.
Betraying America. Yeah, he's neutral.
Portraying.
America hasn't joined the war yet.
Exactly. He's portraying America before, and then by the end of the film, he chooses a side, doesn't he? He chooses to help the French, essentially.
Yeah, the resistance. Yeah.
Yeah, the resistance. Yeah.
Which is very moving and sacrificial of him.
Mm.
I think that we noticed a change in him when the other couple who's at the roulette wheel are desperate to earn enough money to get their visa pass. Yeah. And he gives a nod and a wink to the
roulette guy.
Croupier. Is that the word, croupier? I think that's the right word. To let him win twice, and he then wins enough money for them to escape.
Yeah.
That shows us, and it's even said, isn't it, by other characters? There's the French policeman who had a very strong posh English accent for a French policeman.
I was going to mention that bad French accent all around.
No sign of a French accent. He sounded like he was upper class London, English accent, wasn't it?
I did love that guy, the captain.
He was nice, wasn't he? Yeah.
I don't know if it was nice. He was trying to exploit the couple and get sexual favors out of them, but I liked him. It was fun.
He's a good character.
Dodgy, but fun.
Yeah, and the way they walk off in the distance at the end together. Oh well, we're both going to have to escape now. We'll go to this place I've got in mind. Yeah, that sort of. Yeah. So I think that's the point in the film anyway, that he changes, that Rick changes from a selfish. I don't ever drink with anybody. I'm not interested in your money or doing you a deal or anything else, kind of character to being somebody who actually does care.
Yeah.
I suppose he's acting out, helping another couple because he couldn't get what he wanted himself. He was damaged from having his heart broken, wasn't he?
I'm going in on all in on this America thing, but do you think that's kind of like showing how America dealt weapons to England during the war? It's like, I'm helping you kind of sort of on the side,
Yeah.
I'm pretending to be neutral, but then I'll help you out a bit.
Yeah, maybe
this metaphor, I'm pretty locked in on this metaphor, but there you go.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. You might be right. Yeah,
because a lot of the time, Rick and Elsa are both shot as if they're in the dark, on half in the dark and half in the light. And it's like, they're indecisive. They don't know which way they're going to go or whatever. Yeah, and then Victor Laszlo is always shot with bright light on him because he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's gonna.
And the soft focus lens on Bergman, whenever she's on the screen, on the screen, it goes this soft, hazy focus on her to portray this beautiful softness, Yeah, I picked up on that. Devon, come on, what have you got to say? Oh, I could go on forever. You stop me.
I'll go with the one good thing I've got written down.
Oh dear.
There's more good things, and it is a very interesting story and is very enjoyable. I found that the script is very interesting, and like many parts of it have a deeper meaning. So obviously, when people were saying things and things like that, it's kind of foreshadowing a lot, which I like. But the acting is absolutely trash, man.
Really?
Gosh. It is though. Everyone's so monotone, or if they're not monotone, they're overly dramatic, and it's just not realistic at all. Obviously, it was made a long time ago, but I'm judging a film based on what the film gives me.
Okay.
So I know things like the the video and sound quality are absolutely trash as well. But I'm not going to bash it for that.
No, because of its age. Yeah,
exactly. And there's things like when the Knock on Wood song.
Yeah.
People they weren't even trying to seem like they were actually playing the instruments when that song was going.
No, I did notice that.
Horrible.
Sam the pianist wasn't.
And the drummer and everything was just Yeah.
Apparently, the actor Sam the drummer can actually Sam the pianist can actually play the drums. Weirdly enough, but they've got him to be a pianist for some reason. There you go.
And obviously, he couldn't play the piano. Yeah.
No, he couldn't. No.
Yeah.
But that guy who gets arrested quite early on, I forget his name. But his acting was absolutely horrid.
Yeah.
I'm not. Obviously, it's a classic and it's a very well thought of film, but I'm not going to give it leniency based on those things.
Okay.
For things that it shouldn't.
Do you think it's considered a classic because of the time it was released and what it was saying to the people, whereas now it's no longer relevant? If you know what I mean.
Maybe.
So it doesn't
maybe
mean
to
as
relevancy.
much.
But I think if that exact film was released now, was brand new, it obviously wouldn't even get to cinemas at all because it's so outdated.
Well, no, production quality and acting, if you like, is quite differently perceived now. I think.
Yeah.
That was at of its time. It was a very ahead of its time film.
Yeah.
For what it was saying, what it was portraying. It was, I think, the plot is beautifully done. It's a love triangle, but with a twist, isn't it? And a sacrificial twist. At the end, he's pretending he's going to do one thing, but really he's going to do another thing. And I've only seen it twice now, but the first time, I didn't really kind of grasp it as much as I did this time. It was quite exciting to see it unfold. The last 20 minutes were really...
It is a bit of a slow burn, isn't it?
We're tense. Yes, it is a slow burner. That's a good way of putting it. It is a slow burner.
I didn't quite gel with that in this film that well.
No.
I got a little bit bored a little bit. But I usually like slow burners, so maybe I just need to watch it again. And
I think if you watch it again, you'll get more from it. I do. I
really, really liked how much of it was set in that one bar. And it gave you the atmosphere of that bar really well. You got to know it, and you got to know the places and everything. It was really, really good.
There's a lot of humour in it. There's some good humour in it.
Yeah.
You think about some of the scenes. What was one of the lines? The first thing he said, I came to Casablanca for the waters.
Yeah.
Casablanca's
in a desert.
He said, but we're in a desert. He said, I was misinformed.
I like the line where the guard steps. The captain. Sorry, steps up and he's been told to shut down the bar. He's like, I'm absolutely appalled to find that there's gambling under this roof.
Yeah. You're winning.
Your mate says, thank you. Get out of here. It is quite funny. I like it.
Then there's the guy pickpocketing somebody at the bar, and then he walks past and bumps into the waiter, the head waiter, and then he checks his pockets and phew, I'm okay. I didn't, because he just pickpocketed somebody else. There's loads of wonderful little funny bits in it when you watch them again.
It's pretty good.
The comedy is it's understated, but it's definitely there. But then you compare that to this, knowing that the guy who gets arrested at the bar earlier on doesn't survive the next day, because they can't decide whether to write on the forms that he either committed suicide or he died trying to escape, was the French policeman's comments. In other words, the Germans had killed him. I counted, I think there's comment on the two people who we'd never see who are killed. What was their role? Whatever they did anyway.
They were Germans. Transferring us.
Yes, they die. There's a scene of somebody getting shot right at the beginning.
Yep.
In the street, and then the guy who gets arrested gets shot. So that's 4. There's another death as well. I'm trying to think who it is.
I assume the point you're trying to make is there's quite a high kill count.
So I say for a war. I call it a war film.
Really?
A war romance. It's set in the war. It's during the war. The war is a huge part of the backdrop to it.
It is.
Yeah, but the backdrop, not the forefront. That's the thing.
But so for a war film, I'd say it's got a low kill count because there are some shootings. Oh yeah, the German officer at the end gets killed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So there's 5 people, two mentioned, and 3 actual deaths in the film. So yeah, there's a low kill count for a war film, is what I want to say. But it is primarily a romance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was watching. I haven't finished watching it yet. The documentary that's on the DVD with it, and it must have been made probably 20 years ago by the looks of it. But they were talking a bit about it. There's a couple of interesting things on that. The guy who did the screenplay for it, he was being interviewed. Forgotten his name. He said if it had ended with Laszlo and Bergman going off. I'm sorry, I've forgotten it. Victor Laszlo's acting name. He was a big actor at the time as well. But Ingrid Bergman going off with Humphrey Bogart, if that was the ending it had, it wouldn't have had the same traction it did. Because he sacrificed his love for her and let Ingrid Bergman go off with Victor Laszlo. I'm mixing actor and
you are, aren't
names now. Yeah, because I don't know his name. Yeah, so and Lund is a straight Isla. Did you say or Ela? Is it?
Elsa.
Elsa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elsa and Victor. If they'd not gone off on their own. Yeah, if Rick and Elsa had ended up together, the film would not have been as big as it ended up being.
Right, I think we got to wrap this up. How many gin joints out of 10 would you give it?
Out of 10, yeah. I was other fact I wanted to give you. I know we're running out of time. Did you know that Ronald Reagan was considered for the lead role because he was an actor at the time as well?
Oh, I didn't.
That's my final thing. You've heard of Ronald Reagan?
Nice.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, ex-president. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Out of 10,
I'm gonna go for 8, just because I'm giving it max
brilliant.
for the time period it was made in.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I was going to say 7.
Really?
Yeah, look, it's all right. It's good. I wouldn't say it's brilliant. I don't know how it got the praise to say it's a classic.
Because of the story, I think. And it's of its time.
Yeah, I think it was more relevant when it came out and maybe a little after, but now I don't think it translates just as well.
I think because the script was so intelligent, I just loved it. Like that part just kind of gripped me. It was really good.
You love the script.
Yeah, I loved the script. That's probably the main thing. Yeah.
But you didn't like the acting.
I didn't like the acting, and a lot of it was quite lazy as well, like the instrument things and stuff like that.
When Ingrid Bergman was crying, she was very powerful. I thought that was very moving scenes. Anyway, I have to give it 8, probably 8.5 out of 10.
Very nice.
Yeah, because I can't let Devon give it a higher score than me because I enjoyed it more than him. Yeah, so I have to go higher than 8.
It's true.
Oh well, thank you.
Cool.
Why did you ask us to watch it, Ford?
Because it's considered a classic, and
good.
Yeah, I like it.
Well done.
Nice.
And did you both watch it with your wives?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she thought it was alright.
She thought it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit disappointing. She always likes a happy ending, and the main character didn't get with the main woman, so it's a bit. Meh.
But it ended happily.
Well, the guys are on the run, and he didn't get his woman or whatever.
Yeah. But he goes off happily with his French policeman friend, and she ends up. Yeah,
it's like
she was torn, wasn't she?
Tom Hanks.
she was torn, wasn't she, between the man she loved and the man she respected and adored for what he was cause. She loved his cause. Anyway, I'm going to say no more. Sorry, we've overrun. Yeah.
It's homework time and goodbye.
So, guys. Now for homework, we've got Devon coming up with the homework for next
His
week.
choice today, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you have
Oh.
for us?
Well, I was going to introduce you to the man who wrote my favourite song in the whole world.
Elvis Presley.
Exactly.
Oh.
It's been my favourite song for quite a few years now. So I thought, why not? Let's just whack this in there. But it's his name is Justin Vernon, or Bon Iver, you'll find him as. And the album that we want to be listening to for our homework is For Emma, Forever Ago. And also include the song Roslyn in there, which is my favourite song.
Oh, right. Okay. This is all going to be new to me, I must say. Yeah.
No,
What
I've never heard
style
of
of music is it? Country western?
It's more like it's indie. It's more like alternative indie. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's very acoustic. You might recognise one song in the album called "Skinny Love," but apart from that, I think it might all be brand new to you. So.
Okay, I'll listen. Do we have to listen to it in a darkened room? With no
No, you don't have to do that. If you want the best experience, then go for it. But I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure you'd appreciate it as much as the last album we listened to.
Do I have to be high in order to listen to it?
Oh,
okay.
You have to be dancing around a fire on a beach. Oh no, that was the last time we listened to a piece of music.
Yeah. So
right, okay.
If any of our listener wants to join in our homework, then it's Bon Iver's album For Emma, Forever Ago, and whack in the song Roslyn as well.
So Roslyn, do you think is part of the album? Or
I'm pretty sure it's part of the album, but it's on. Well, I listen to things on Amazon Music, and on that it's separate. Mm-hmm. But I think it's separate for a different reason. So,
but if you bought the CD,
possibly, yeah.
You know those round things that shine and silvery coloured.
What, you mean a physical object?
Yeah, can you remember them?
No. All digital now.
Oh. Yeah, but you're the one who wants a CD player as your top gadget.
Walkman.
Yeah, but most audiobooks.
Walkman, yeah.
I don't listen to music.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll look that up then and have a listen to it. Yeah. Thank you, Devon.
Nice.
Well, gentlemen, this is the show, isn't it? If you'd like to like, comment, subscribe, share, try something new. You've got options. Hit your bells icons or whatever.
Ding. Yeah.
You can find us on most major podcasting platforms and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at Theory of Anything. That's TING at the end. You could email us at theoryofanything@hotmail.com. Feel free to message us about anything we've talked about, or indeed anything you want us to talk about. Yeah,
got a great what we've said today.
Yeah,
said it in. Yeah, or anything.
I think Ford, that was the best outro you've ever done. Or any of us have ever done. Yeah, that was really, really well done. Very professional.
Oh,
you're getting the hang of it. Took 7 episodes.
Ouchie. Also, lastly, I'd like to thank our producer Trinity for doing all the boring stuff. Yeah.
Wow. Well, actually, we should have said this right at the very beginning. We have had a few technical issues, which we are trying to get on top of with some rather strange edits in amongst the podcast. So it doesn't affect YouTube, but there is some little bits that we're teething troubles that we're still ironing out. It's particularly obvious in episode 6, but it should be better for next episode. For this episode, episode 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is she on thin ice then? The old producer.
Yeah, she's got one more chance.
Oh dear. Well, I don't know.
Be replay.
She doesn't have free, so maybe she's on thick ice.
Yeah,
I think
there'll
be one later down.
You offered her 100% pay rise if she got it right, didn't you?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, bing bang boom, we've done it again. That's the show.
Yeah. Boom boom. Thank you, guys. Well done. Look forward to seeing you around the microphone next time.
Yay.
Amen,
Yay.
sister.
Bye.
Bye.